So let's talk about a brief history regarding debt in the US. Early on in American history, debt was accumulated in order to pay for the production of goods and primarily during a time of war. It actually wasn't until the 1950s that personal loans in the form of cash and credit became available through the companies like American Express and Visa. So before the 1950s, the individual in America did not accumulate consumer debt. But after consumer debt became available to the consumer, that's when the consumer started accumulating debt. And actually in 2006, there was a study done stating that Americans will put something as little as $5 on a credit card. So the issue is that we have gone away from the idea that debt is bad to an idea that accumulating debt, having credit is good. Half of our population lives paycheck to paycheck, and the youth that's growing up is thinking that they can finance the world. And I know this because I grew up with this mentality as well. I have a brother who right now is trying to build credit by getting credit, and that's not the way that you need to do it. You don't need to get in debt in order to build credit, and that's something that I want to teach you throughout this series. But what I want to focus on today is how do we begin tackling the debt that we have already accumulated. And a lot of people think that the way that they need to do it is by making more income and making more money, but that is not the case. Studies have also shown that the more money someone makes, the more money they spend. So your solution to getting out of debt isn't to make more income, although it will help, but only if you change your mentality towards debt first. We have to realize that the debtor will always be slave to the loaner. So what we need to do is to change our mentality from borrowing money to using the money that we already have and making wise decisions with the money that we have. I stopped wanting to be a slave to the system. I wanted to get my financial freedom back. And that's what I want to teach you as well. So where do we begin with that? Where do we begin? We begin by asking ourselves the following 3 questions. The first thing that you need to ask yourself is, how much money did I make last year? And the easiest way to do that is to take a look at your bank account, your bank statement. How much money did you make last year? A really cool app that will kind of give you an overview of that is an app. It's a web app, but you can also get it on your phone, and it's called Mint. And online, it's mint.com. You can just enter in your bank information on there, and it's completely your discretion whether you want to do this. The website itself states that it's very safe, but I want you to kind of make your own decision whether you want to put that information or to use that app. You take personal responsibility for that. But the easiest way to do that is to just go to your bank statement or take a look at your paychecks and figure out how much money you made last year. So the second question that you want to ask yourself is, how much of that money that I made last year did I keep? And the way you figure that out is you find out how much money you have in your savings accounts, and you find out how much money you have in your checking account, as well as any money that you have cash in your wallet. And I guarantee you, when you do that, most people, their response is that they have less than $100 in their savings account, if anything, and probably less than $100 in their checking account. So the third question that you need to ask yourself is, where did all the money that I made last year go? Where did it go? Some of it obviously went to rent, to utilities. It went to gas for your car. But a lot of it went towards things that you do not need, things that are considered luxuries. So what I want you to do is go take a look in your fridge. I guarantee that you have about 7 different breakfast options in there, about 20 different options for lunch, 60 different options for dinner. Take a look in your pantry and I bet you have boxes and boxes and boxes of foods that you have not even used yet. And yet you still go to the grocery store every single week and buy more food. If you look around your house, it's full of junk that you don't need but that you spent money on. If you look at your car, you probably have a brand new car. That's where your money went. If you look, women, if you look in your bathroom cabinets, I bet you have endless amounts of perfumes, shampoos, makeup products. That's where your money went. This week, what it's about, it's facing your finances, taking a look at how much money you actually made, how much of that money you kept, and how much of that money you spent on ridiculous things. That is the start for you to start realizing that the reason why you're in this situation is because of your own personal choices. And the only way that you're gonna get out of the debt that you're in is for you to start taking a look at how you spend your money and coming to terms with the fact that you're making the decision, you're putting yourself in that debt. And the only way that you're gonna get out of it is to start changing the way that you look at your money that you work hard for and changing the way that you look at debt. Now, for those of you who are on my Be Superwoman list, my VIP list, where I send out exclusive videos, you guys are gonna get a printout of all the questions that I asked you to ask yourselves today. So if you are not on that list and you want that free printable, make sure that you click on the link below and that you sign up to get on that Be Superwoman list. Next week, what we are going to tackle is finding out what in your life is a necessity and what in your life is a luxury. And it's going to be important to figuring out the distinction between those two things if you want to start getting out of debt. I will see you all in next week's video. Bye.